Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another issue of Mortal Realms magazine. As per usual with all these videos though, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below. It's great to hear from you guys. I do highly appreciate it, like you wouldn't believe. Now, without further ado, we're on issue 55 and we have the first of our Celestial Dracoline units. A pretty cool sprue. This is one of 3 sprues as well, and this is designed to be the Lord Arcanum on Celestial Dracoline. There is a secondary build option, so you can kind of tinker with it a little bit if you wish to. So you can have him with that staff, or you can have him holding a sword aloft, entirely up to you. With this, you will have opportunity to build other versions, essentially, with the other 2 sprues that will be kind of similar-ish as well. So pretty cool. 3 options for heads as well. So you've got one, but you got 2 pretty much bare heads, and then 1 fully helmed. Entirely up to you which one you want to use. It's up to you if you want to go for the same route that the magazine's going through, or if you want to go for a slightly different route. Entirely up to you. I'm not too sure which one I'm going for. I'm going to have a tinker around. I'm going to have a look to see how the builds work with each one, and then decide from there, in all honesty. So it's always worth having a look at Games Workshop's website to kind of figure out which way you want to go with the build and everything like that. But down to yourself and personal preference, of course. Now, before we get into the magazine, there's not a huge amount of content in this magazine because the painting section is actually pretty large. So, without further ado, let's crack on with it. So, we're greeted by the weaponry of the Storm hosts. So of course, every weapon wielded by the Stormcast Eternals is empowered with Holy Lightning. Forged from Sigmar, these artifacts are masterworks designed to last for an eternity of battle. So, with the good old weaponry of Stormcast Eternals, there is a whole decent range. So you've got ranged weapons, you've got bludgeoning weapons like hammers and axes and maces and stuff like that. You have bladed weapons from swords, glaives and axes, tridents to an extent. You have the magical weapons, which are things like staffs and staves and everything like that. And then of course you've got your protective bits and pieces like the shields and all that type of stuff. Really cool little bits of information in here, including the fact that when Sigmar designed the weapons to be used by the Stormcast Eternals, he ensured that each was worthy of his new warriors. Every weapon in the arsenal of the Storm host is imbued with magic to some degree or another. When the wielder of such a weapon is slain, it travels with the wielder back to Azerheim for reforging, and is ready and waiting for when they next strike into the realms. So, a cool little bit of information how you wouldn't quite, with the way that the Stormcast Eternals die and get reforged and everything like that, it's never fully explained in many places, apart from in certain books and battle tomes and stuff like that. But it's never actually explained in the actual novels that their weaponry ascends to Azir with them as well, which is pretty cool, and is pretty useful information. So that weapon continues on that journey with them and stuff like that, and just waits for them to be reforged, which is pretty cool, and is bit interesting, that one is. So on to the next page. It's got a breakdown of the different types of weapons, so things like your hammers and maces at the top, which of course are your bludgeoning weapons. So hammers and maces are among the most common weapons used by the Storm hosts, who favour brutal power such such weapons offer. Many are forged in the heart of the storm, known as Azerden Thunderhead. Known for its blunt and pitiless nature, and the largest maces and warhammers are wielded by concussors and retributors. These weapons kill in a single swing, blasting enemies to ashes with a lightning charged blow that makes impact. So, with the hammers and maces, of course, they are bludgeoning weapons. They are designed to smash more than anything. They are not very finessed weapons, and they're not very graceful or anything like that, but they are very powerful. Bladed weapons, of course, it mentions the fact that good old The Stormcast Eternals wield a vast array of bladed weapons. Every one of them is deadly to the enemies of Sigmar, from the slashing weapons carried by some Liberators and Sequitors to the more magical armaments of other warriors. The sweeping blows of a Decimator's Thunder Axe can cut a bloody trail through enemy hordes, while the Stormstrike's glaives, held by Protectors, are used to create barriers of arcane force that repel ranged attacks. So, it's always interesting to get a bit more information about the Starblades and the Starforged weaponry that they have. So whether it is axes, swords, glaives, spears, that type of stuff, really quite interesting to see and to kind of find out about as well. Your ranged weapons, of course, as well, they have bows and crossbows that allow the Stormcast Eternals to strike their enemies from afar. Such weapons, such as the shock bolt bows carried by Judicators, shoot projectiles made of lightning that incinerate their targets, while others, like the Thunderhead great bows wielded by Castigators, fire payloads of explosive arcane power. With a lot of these, of course, the actual projectiles are filled with things like the Breath of the Stardrake and stuff like that as well, which could burst forth with huge, powerful bolts of lightning and everything like that that burn through foes, and are used to kind of cleanse from afar, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, your Sigmarite shields, which are always pretty cool. They are very durable, blessed with spells that can smite attackers, and these shields can smash aside hostile sorceries as well as physical blows. And the shields can come in different shapes and sizes. So there are round shields, which you don't see many of the models with anymore, which is unfortunate. And there are, of course, the regular shields that we're used to that are on things like that are carried by the Liberators and Sequitors and stuff like that, which we are more used to than anything else. But very good bit of information about weaponry, which, in all honesty, they don't go into some of the weaponry as much as they probably could. You could get a lot of information if they did an entire book just about the weaponry of the Mortal Realms, which would be pretty cool. They can include some of the great weapons and stuff like that that are kind of the legendary ones, including Galvaraz and stuff like that, if they wish to, and then just your normal, all the way back, whittling down, back towards kind of like your older stuff as well, if they wanted to. The realms, they are continuing with the Spiral Crux, which is part 3. So it is going through the Age of Chaos now, so from Zeech's Hand Revealed, Slaughter from Above, and then the Cadron Code. So the Cadron, if you don't know, are the Dwaradin sky pirate kind of looking buggers. They are very cool. Their weaponry is pretty cool as well, and they very rarely take off the masks. They are very good models as well, in all honesty. I'm not going to lie, I really do like the Caradron. I've got a couple, I haven't got many, but they are a very interesting model, to say the least. And it goes all the way through on, so carrying on with all the different bits and pieces that was going on in the Realm of Metal, and through the Age of Chaos, which is pretty cool. Yeah, how to build, as I say, you're going to end up with some parts that are not used with your sprue no matter what, whether you're building it the way that they say to build it or whether you build it the way you wish to build it, entirely up to you. They suggest building it in one specific route, so one specific head with pieces. In all honesty, it's up to you. Completely up to you. Same with the fact that they're carrying it with a staff and not the sword. Again, it's up to you. Entirely up to you how you wish to build it. I'm partial to both, personally. So, I mean, to be honest, that'll be one of the things. If you can get 2 issues, you can do it in both ways if you wanted to. Why not? You know, you might as well, for £8, a good model to have. So, the how to paint section, pretty decent. So, of course, they're starting off with, it's quite a sizable section as well. So, they're starting off with painting Drataline, which for the skin, they suggest using Corax White as a base coat. Thin coat of Administratum Grey, covered with Norn Oil, back over with Administratum Grey to dry brush and highlight areas, White Scar dry brush, and then Celia Green shade as well, to get that colour definition through a lot of it, which actually isn't a bad way of doing the colour. I disagree with using Cantor Blue on the scales. Personally, if you have it, there are a couple of other colours that you could use, like Star Skink or anything like that, or Inky by Darkness, that could do just as good. The blue will look a little bit flat personally, and it won't go quite, and I don't think it goes quite as well with the Dracoline. Personally, that's just my opinion though, in all honesty, and my kind of painting style that says that. You're painting up the actual good old Lord Arcanum. Yeah, same as usual really. It's not a lot different from what you'd normally get. So it is a case of painting up all the little pieces like staff, the headdress, everything like that, the plume, using your Reikland flesh shade. Certain faces, there's one face that is bearded, there is one face of course that is helmed, and then the third face is also bearded actually, or doesn't have a beard, sorry. Up to you which one you're using, depends on how you're going to paint it up and everything like that, but you can get some very, very good looks out of it. I really like this model. I think it's a very, very nice model. Even their paint scheme does work very well. You have got a lot to paint on it as well. There is a lot of highlighting, there is a lot of smaller detail. Have fun with it. If and when you get it painted, you could get something looking very, very nice. There are a few bits and pieces where it's kind of left a little bit blank. I would do them slightly differently. But you can get a very, very nice looking model out of this. Definitely worth spending your time doing this as well. It'll take you quite a while, I'm not going to lie. Of course, you've got your War Scroll for the Lord Arcanum on Celestial Dracoline. Very nice War Scroll as well, so he's got some pretty cool abilities. He also has the Aether Stave and Monstrous Claws that the Dracoline has, which are pretty cool. Has the abilities of Cycle of the Storm, has Supernatural Roar as well as having a Spirit Flask, which is pretty cool. Has the command ability of Pack Alpha, and is also a wizard of course, so he has the Storm Lance, which is pretty cool. So a lot to kind of go through with that one. Definitely worth having a read through, kind of work out how the abilities work and how it's going to benefit you in your games. And then of course we have our battle plan, which is Storm of Magic. So you will be going up against the Briar Queen, Reichner the Grim Hailer, Guardian of Souls, 5 Glaive Wraith Stalkers and 20 Chain Rasps in total. And for your Stormcast you will have Xandria Azure Bolt, who we haven't used for a while, the Knight in Cantor, Lord Arcanum on Celestial Dracoline, a Lord Exorcist, 5 Secretors, Celestar Ballista and 5 Liberators as well. A very good battle plan to go through as well, that one is. Looks pretty cool. Use your free battle mats. It's going to be a beast of a battle as well. There's a lot of models to get on with there and very, very cool stuff to keep you going. Next week we have the Knight of Shrouds on foot, essentially. Pretty cool model. Definitely nice to see him unmounted as well, which is pretty cool. And yeah, definitely worth £8. That magazine is, because that model is normally about 20. The issue after, issue 57, we get Hex Wraiths. Pretty cool models. Definitely worth picking them up as well. With the Hex Wraiths, if I remember rightly, you can build them in 2 ways. So you can build Hex Wraiths, or you can build, I think it's Black Knights. I might be wrong on that. Build them as Hex Wraiths because they'll match your Night Haunt army. If you do want to do the other style of them, they will match not really your Night Haunt, but they will match Skeleton Hordes and the Soul Blight Vampires that are coming soon, or should be coming soon, we hope. So yeah, entirely up to you how you want to do it though. I personally would go with Hex Wraiths to kind of keep in with the theme of the Night Haunt army, personally. Right, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will catch you in the near future. Bye bye now.